Hello everyone, and welcome back to Genesys Weekly. My name's Hazel, and each week I host a Genesys tournament and I bring the finest deck lists and replays for your viewing pleasure. If you would like to play in one of these feature events, join the Genesys Discord, link in the description. Enjoy! Our first matchup this week is Gem Knights featuring Trickstars and Fairies versus Dracotail, a deck I quite like because I brought it to the YCS Anaheim Invitational. Ketu Dracotail comes down, searching for a Lucaeus. Somehow, Dracotail managed to open Ketu and Rahu, both one-ofs. Lucaeus will search for Femina, and then they'll follow up with the original Polymerization. I love seeing this ancient card see any play at all. It's great. Arthalion hits the board, recycling two monsters to our hand, both of the Dracotail names, and we get to set two traps from our deck, Staying and the Flame. Rahu Dracotail will fuse with the Femina again, pitching an Urgula from the deck, getting us the third trap name before recycling that Femina back to our hand. We opt to play conservatively, setting the Polymerization instead of extending into Secretarian Dragon and potentially getting Nibiru'd. Gem Knight Nephirim comes down from the Gem Knight player. Normal summon and search for Gem Knight Dispersion. Gem Knight Dispersion activates and we'll get a search. And that is Gem Armadillo. Nephirim bonus normal summon effect activates to give us a bonus normal summon of the Gem Armadillo, which searches for a Gem Knight Holocore. And now we can make a rank 4. We choose Evil Swarm Exciton Knight, threatening the whole board all at once, right off the bat. So it's going to be Chainlink 1 Exciton Knight, Chainlink 2 Sting to banish some cards and get some value, Chainlink 3 Gulamel to try to remove the Exciton Knight, Chainlink 4 Dracotail Horn to get the Arthalion back in the extra deck and protect it. At least now Femina can summon it again. We return the K2 and the Rahu back to the deck, important because they're both one-ofs, and we draw a Pan and a King of the Swamp, two very good cards. But the Exciton Knight does its job, and the whole board is gone. We use the Holocore effect to summon itself on the Gem Knight side, pitching a Gem Knight Fusion from the deck, and that'll be met by Femina summoning a Mysterion Dragon using a Pan and Lucaeus as materials as Holocore hits the field. Mysterion now threatening to banish the Holocore right from the field, as we get 3 trigger effects in the graveyard, 2 Dracotail babies getting sets from the deck, and a Gulamel, which will float back, and then the Mysterion, of course, threatening to banish the board. But because Mysterion is Chainlink 4, they didn't play around the Herald of Orange Light, and it can be negated and destroyed. We get the 2 sets from the deck, though, the K2 and the Sting. But the Pan can at least destroy the Holocore. Eva was sent to the graveyard, banishing a Herald of Orange Light as cost. And Pan can trigger the other effect, the secret effect that barely ever happens because a fusion monster was destroyed. A Dracotail monster can be summoned back from the graveyard. And that'll be Lucaeus. Eva searches for the Herald of Green Light as Lucaeus hits the field and searches for a copy of Malulu. Vigneal's Blessing sends a copy of Nephirim to the graveyard, which activates its effect, pitching the Aqua Angel to summon itself. And Gem Knight Dispersion number 2 performs a fusion summon. The opponent controls 2 or more monsters, so we can use 2 materials from the deck to summon a Master Dispersion, and Quartz will get back a Nephirim. Master Dispersion can tag out into the Rose Diamond, Prismara, and Seraphonite. And we can recycle Gem Knight Fusion by banishing a name. We'll hit over everything, but there's no damage due to Exciton Knight, so we'll pass back. Dracotail gets another turn to play. Starting with Dracotail Sting, recycle, and draw a card. Nope, just kidding. Holocore will negate that. How about a Ketu? Nope. Herald of Green Light will negate that as well. Pitching a Nephirim too, which allows them to send the Gem Knight Fusion, summoning back the Nephirim, and searching for a Gem Knight Dispersion. Alright, we'll normal summon the Malulu, and we'll fuse with everything we got. Come to me, Arthalion. We'll use it to target a Femina and King of the Swamp, alongside getting a couple of sets from the deck. Malulu will negate this Rose Diamond forever. And we get our 2 names back. We'll use a Rahu Dracotail, fusing with this Femina and an Urgula from the deck to make a Gulamel. We will set 1 name from the deck. I think that's just because it's the last name in the deck. We don't really have anything left. In Genesys, you don't get many names in Dracotail. We can use Femina now to extend into the Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon, which will allow us to attack the entire board. At least the ones that are small enough to attack. And get back one of our trap cards. We'll get back the Dracotail Horn. At least now we can start this cycle of trap recycling again. Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon destroys all but the 2 big ones. As Forbidden Crown is drawn by the Gem Knight player. Horn removes one of the Gem Knight names, but a 3700 negated Rose Diamond still exists. Gem Knight Dispersion will get back a Gem Knight from the banishment. They select Hollow Core. Into the battle phase, clear the Gulamel, and we will set past. Not too much gas left in the tank. Dracotail draws Fusion Deployment, revealing Grand Yuinal to summon a Blazing Cartesia from the deck. Blazing Cartesia can then fuse with a Shadal Squamata to make Shadal Construct, triggering all sorts of effects. Shadal Hedgehog is sent to the graveyard, Shadal Beast is sent to the graveyard, Arthalion floats back, Gulamel floats back. We get a search and a draw from the Shadal names. That's going to be a Frixel from the draw and a Shadal Beast from the search. Normal summon Frixel, no effect. As we'll go into the battle phase. Construct will attempt to remove the Rose Diamond, but Crown will shut that down, and none of these other monsters have the attack points to remove the Rose Diamond. And we'll actually just pass there and let the Gem Knights have another turn, but they don't have enough gas to do anything. You would think that Candina is gas, but they have the one of Aqua Angel already in the graveyard, so it doesn't do anything. It's just a level 4 body. Here's game 2. How will Gem Knight crack back? They'll start with Brilliant Fusion, classic card. Sending 3 names, Nephrim, Quartz, and Hollow Core to summon the Diamond Dispersion. We get back the Hollow Core. We get back the Nephrim by pitching the Hollow Core. And we get a Dispersion from that search. We get a bonus normal summon. We haven't even used our first normal summon, but here we are with the bonus normal summon of Gem Knight's Quartz into number 60 Dugarez, which will draw 2 cards and discard 1. We'll discard this Googlet that we draw off the top to search for a Forbidden Droplet before upgrading into XYZ Armor Fortress, detaching our 1 material for a full armored XYZ. We rank up into the full armored Dark Knight Lancer before tagging out into 3 fusion monsters. Set 4 pass! Gem Knight can go first? Since when? They have a Forbidden Crown, a Forbidden Droplet, and that full armored XYZ. We'll start off just rip the XYZ to make a Photon Strike Bouncer. What kind of Gem Knight deck is this? All right, Fusion Deployment. Revealing Grand Yuinal, summon a Cartesia. How far will this get? Ooh, it'll get a lot further than you might think because Gamma-Steel, the Sea Turtle Kaiju, removes Photon Strike Bouncer. Forbidden Crown, though, will stop the Blazing Cartesia, which not only negates the effect to fuse, but prevents it from being used as a fusion material from another effect. And that's going to stop the Dracotail dead in their tracks. They can set a Flame. Doesn't do anything, though, as they try to use the Cartesia, and it's negated by Herald of Orange Light, sending Eva searching for green and orange light. This Flame is not going to be enough to stop anything. Luckily, the Gem Knight player doesn't have a lot of gas, but actually, I guess unluckily, it's already enough. Now it's time for that all-important Game 3. Dracotail starts with Polymerization, sending Urgula and Frixel to make an Arthalion. We'll get 2 sets from the deck, and we will get 2 names back in our hand. We get Rahu, we get K2, and we give our monsters back. We'll activate the Rahu. We'll fuse with the Lucaeus and an Urgula to make a Gulamel, and the Lucaeus will get a Sting from the deck. We can follow up with the normal summon of Frixel, which will flip back that Lucaeus before returning itself to the hand. And then Lucaeus will get us its Search effect, getting us 5 mana. Ketu is next, searching us a copy of Malulu. And then we will use the 5 mana, fusing the Lucaeus and the Arthalion into a Mysterion before Urgula gives us back the 5 mana. This is the adjustment, I suppose, to the end board against Gem Knights. Is just start with the Mysterion on the board. We have a Final Bringer of the End Times as well, alongside a Dracotail Sting. With that 5 mana and a DD Crow in hand, of course, Trickstar Light Stage searches for a Candina. And then Lava Golem eats everything. Goodbye, board. It was nice knowing you. Arthalion floats back, though, because 2 monsters went to the graveyard. But Illusion Gate says no to all that. Final Bringer of the End Time can at least clear the field spell, but Illusion Gate will summon the Mysterion to our opponent's field. We get hit for 3,000, and Dracotail Sting attempts to banish 2 monsters, while 5 mana floats into Secretarion Dragon. Things are quickly getting out of hand, triggering a whole host of Dracotail names. Mysterion is negated. We have Horn set, we have Flame set, and Gulamel will float back. Draw for turn, Dracotail Pan. We have a Secretarion Dragon, though, and we can start doing the infinite cycle. We get back our Frixel with its effect. Frixel gets back Lucaeus and returns itself to the hand. Lucaeus now can search for a Malulu, and we haven't even normal summoned. We can normal summon that Malulu and then use the fusion effect, and that will end the match. Here is the Dracotail list. Dracotail is on life support, but it is still playable, I suppose. 3 pans, 3... Well, basically maxing out on all the names we can, except 1 Frixel. We have Shaddols, we have Cartesias with the fusion deployments, we have Polymerization, we got King of the Swamp. We have so many ways to search for alternative ways to fuse because we only have the 1 K2 and the 1 Rahu. We have the Chalice, at least, which helps reset the board if something goes wrong. We have a bunch of different Shaddol names, so we have a bunch of different options for the Shaddol fusion in the side deck. You saw the Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon, but another name you can make with the King of the Swamp is the Millennium Eyes Restrict here. Final Bringer of the End Times, Twin Twister's Illusion Gate Shaddol fusion in the side, alongside some additional Shaddol names to side in for flexible matchups. Here is the Gem Knight list featuring Dark Lords, Heralds, Trickstars, and of course Eva and Droll and Lockbird. I don't know what you're doing here, but sure. We even have Forbidden Droplets and Forbidden Crowns. It's really kind of an interesting brew. I've never seen a deck quite like that, but it's pretty potent. We have lots of fun rank 4s in the extra deck as well. And then in the side deck, we have Trickstar Reincarnation to go with our Droll and Lockbird, I suppose, alongside Dark Holes, Illusion Gates, Third Quartz, and the Lava Golems that you saw featured in the last match. Our next matchup this week is a Fairy Pile featuring Fluffals, not pictured in this hand, versus DoomZ. Fluffal leads with Mudora the Sword Oracle pitching Keldo to get Gravekeeper's Trap, which pitches in turn Full Armored XYZ to get Fluffal Bear, which pitches itself in turn to get Toy Vendor. Alright, we're finally there. Let's get some Fluffals. Pitch a Herald of Greenlight. We don't find a Fluffal, we find Nephrim though. Nephrim effect can pitch a Vigneal's Blessing in hand to summon the Nephrim back. Nephrim gets a search. Vigneal's Blessing summons back a Fairy. Hello, Keldo. Nephrim searches for Gem Knight Quartz, which we can bonus normal summon thanks to Nephrim. And suddenly, out of basically thin air, we have 4 level 4 monsters. Tornado Dragon can destroy our Toy Vendor, searching for Fluffal Dolphin, and luckily we have not used our normal summon, so here comes Dolphin to get Toy Vendor again, sending Wings to the graveyard, and Toy Vendor can now be destroyed by Wings, drawing 2 cards and a search of Fluffal Dog. Keldo can special summon itself by pitching a Fluffal Dog, and we'll search for Kelbeck, the Ancient Vanguard. We do not get to see this card very often. How exciting. Mudora will shuffle some of our own cards back as Mujinti Amaterasu is summoned. Another card I have not seen in probably a decade. It summons back the Mudora, though. And now we can use it for another rank 4. We'll summon number 60, Dugaraz the Timeless. Our monsters are cycling in a huge circle here. Dugaraz will draw 2 and discard 1. We discard the Kelbeck. That means both players are going to mill 5. And I would like to point out, we have milled an Eva, and the opponent has milled their Doom's Destruction. What a beautiful mill. Eva banished 2 names to search for green and orange light. Oh my goodness. We can rank up the Dugaraz into an XYZ Armor Fortress, searching for XYZ. Oh, sorry, Full Armored XYZ. Foolish Burial Goods gets Mutiny of the Sky into rotation, pitching a Herald of Green Light to get it back into the hand. We can make the Dark Knight Lancer, and Mutiny of the Sky can shuffle 3 fairies in order to get a Luce. And that's going to be our end board. Amaterasu will get back a Herald of Greenlight from the banishment as DoomZ proceeds in their draw phase and tries to Book of Eclipse our board. That'll be met by the Herald of Greenlight. How about an Illusion Gate? Oh, Herald of Greenlight. Followed by Gravekeeper's Trap to search for Kelbeck. All right. How about 7th Tachyon? Got a 3rd green light in your 1-card hand? No? Okay, I'll reveal Ragna Zero to search for Surfacing Big Jaws, which come down, and search for the Poplar Shark, or Drake Shark, as some people know it as. It'll summon itself from the hand, and overlay, or Exciton Knight. Goodbye, board. They'll chain Full Armored XYZ here, trying to equip a monster to the Tornado Dragon in order to protect it from destruction once, but the Final Bringer at the end time will destroy it before that effect resolves. Exciton Knight will destroy 1, 2, 3 cards, leaving Luce, which protects itself. Follow up by normal summoning DoomZ Evolve, searching for the DoomZ Drastea, which can destroy the Evolve, equipping itself with a Doomdirg, and then ranking up into the Drastrius. Drastrius can then equip the Luce to it, eliminating the threat, and that's it. That's the whole turn. Fairy player shuffle some cards back, but has nothing else to do. They don't get to draw a card because they activated Dugaraz, so they're just stuck with it at Kelbeck and nothing left to do. DoomZ draws a Snatch Steal for turn, as Drastria sends the Luce to the graveyard and attacks for 27. Mudora shuffles back the Luce. It's free! Foolish Real Good sends a Toy Vendor to the graveyard. That'll get us a search. Fluffal Dog, that's a good starter for something, I suppose. Normal summon the Fluffal Dog. It gets a search. Nope! I'm sorry, but your dog is going to be negated and equipped by the big, scary man. We can use Mutiny Skydo to pitch Kelbeck, and that means both players are milling 5 again. We mill Eva. We mill Neprim. We mill Toy Vendor. Eva gets us an Orange Light. Toy Vendor gets us a Fluffal Bear. And Neprim can pitch a name to special summon itself. Mutiny this guy can shuffle back 3 cards to get back the Luce. And that will free our dog from the clutches of the evil DoomZ. Except, yep, that'll just work. Okay. Fluffal Bear will set a Toy Vendor, but that's actually going to be it for the turn. Snatch Steal is a good answer to Luce. I don't think they planned for that one. And I especially don't think they expected that their Luce would be stolen and then Medius the Pure, which is a fairy, would be pitched from DoomZ to destroy the Neprim. Incredible turn of events. An absolute Uno reverse for the ages. And that's going to be lethal. For this next one, if you're squeamish to bricks, look away, because they are going to pull the Jesse Cotton at Worlds full board and get them annihilated here by a single card activation. Thank you for the good game one. Here is the DoomZ list. It is a 41 card list, unlike the 60 card list that we might have seen, but it is incorporating the Sharks and the Hero Lives for maximum starter consistency. It does include the Regulus in the extra deck alongside Gaga Magician for the Utopic Future Zexal. All pretty standard fare for DoomZ. We have the package to search for the Unbreakable XYZ Barrier and Metal Silver Armor just for BM, and evenly matched in the side deck. Here's the Fluffal list. I love seeing Fluffals. I used to play this deck all the time, but I played all kinds of wacky hybrids. We have a full Ishizu package featuring the Kelbeck, which is, you never see this in Genesis. It's a real treat to be able to see this in action. And a Forbidden Droplet for good measure. We have all the fun rank 4s, including the Brugenti Amaterasu. Why is this 10 points? Is this really 10 points? Oh my god. I don't... that's crazy. Exciton Knight, Night Dragon Adagnister, a bunch of fun ones. Herald of Purple Light, Radiant, Double Cyclone Hage, Tornadus, Illusion Gate, Exchange of the Spirit, whatever this is, and Double Cyclone in the side deck. Next up is a returning favorite of mine, which is Magnet Warrior Argostars, and it's going up against probably my new favorite deck, which is GMX Vanquish Soul. Check this out. GMX will start with the Experiment and pay a random amount of life points to fusion summon a monster. In this case, they found it pretty quick, so they'll only pay 2,000 to summon an Alos. Alos gets back to Dogron, and that makes a rank 8, which is Drags Luxion, searches for 7th Tachyon, and then, of course, you can detach 2 to rank it up into a Hope Harbinger. 7th Tachyon will reveal a number 107, a rank 8 dragon. That'll let them search for a Chaos Dragon Legionnaire. And then they can reveal it for Stake Your Soul. Summon the Mad Love from the deck. Mad Love gets them into the field spell, and we are off to the races. Vanquish Soul start. Targeting the Vanquish Soul Mad Love gets them into a Holly Sue. And this Durandal that they opened with can get them into the copy of Rosin in their deck. They haven't used their normal summon yet, so normal summon Rosin, and it will search for a copy of Caesar Valius. Holly Sue now can reveal that Caesar Valius to summon itself, and they do have Fire and Dark in their hand, which means Holly Sue can summon a monster directly from the deck, and that'll be the Heavy Borgar, and that'll reveal the Dark, of course, to draw a card. That Legionnaire getting a lot of work. Mad Love now revealing to return the monster on the field with the lowest defense of the hand. That happens to be their own Rosin, and then Caesar Valius can tag out that Holly Sue. Going into the end phase, they get a copy of Vanquish Soul Snow Devil. Very powerful. All right, what's up? What do we got? Argostar's Giant Slayer, negated by the Hope Harbinger. Magnet Bonding up next. Let's get ourselves a copy of the Plus Minus. And looks like they're going to summon Plus Minus by sending Plus and Minus. Okay. How thematic. Plus gets back Minus. Minus, of course, dumps a Tolution to the graveyard. And then they'll follow up with Magnet Induction, summoning Epsilon, the Magnet Warrior from the deck. Sending Omega Plus and summoning back the Sigma Plus. At this point, Caesar Valius reveals 3 attributes, Fire, Dark, and Earth, to destroy the Sigma Minus. However, they didn't read the secret effect of Magnet Induction, which says that For the rest of this turn, Magnet Warriors cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Aha. Tricky. Okay, so Omega Plus now will cycle out the plus minus, returning it to hand to summon itself. And now we have a whole bunch of level 4 monsters. They'll use the Heavy Borgar to reveal the Dark and draw a card. And Light Dragon Adagnister is XYZ summoned, as is Gallant Granite. At this point, the Vanquish Soul Snow Devil will reveal all 3 attributes and attempt to destroy the board and summon a monster and a bunch of other effects, including Burn, Burn, Burn. However, the Light Dragon Adagnister will just protect the entire board. These players back and forth just cannot destroy each other's cards. However, Vanquish Soul Holly Sue hits the field, and revealing a Light and a Dark allows it to summon a Mad Love from the deck. Not that that does much. Gallant Granite activates to search for a rock monster, this time a Sigma minus. Battle phase, Gallant Granite attacks, trying to destroy the Holly Sue, but the Mad Love will reduce its attack and defense by 500, preventing the attack. Light Dragon Adagnister will destroy it, though. And then in main phase 2, Zeus comes down. Goodbye to the board. Goodbye to the Vanquish Soul field spell. And hello to the Plasma Magnum. We will fusion summon it using that Sigma minus that we searched, and we will get another copy of Magnet Bonding. And now we still have the Glorious Audra in our hand. We haven't normal summoned it. Here we go. Banish it, get 2 names, discard the Ideo for a Tideo, get another copy of Etio. Summon the Swift Kapane, and then we can rank those into the Adventurous Arion. Adventurous Arion gets us into the field spell, which gets us back a card from our graveyard or banishment. And they will choose the Giant Slayer, set a bunch of cards, summon back a Telusion, and pass over. That is a huge comeback. Incredible stuff. During the standby phase, they will activate the Adventurous Arion to get back all 3 of the trap names, and then immediately use the Tideo to trade the Giant Slayer for a Glorious Audra. Tideo is destroyed, or sorry, tributed by Dogron, the Flame Kaiju. An interesting choice. I'm not sure why they would Kaiju that, but here they are. Banish 3 for the Chaos Dragon Levianeer, and that was what attributes? Light, light, light. So they will be summoning a monster back in defense mode. It's an Alos. Alos gets back a Dogoron, and from here they have a rank 8, and there is... How did Magnet Bonding activate? They XYZ summoned the Garunix Eternity, but they must have clicked no on the effect. What are they doing? You're supposed to click yes on the effect to nuke the board. Well, Telusion is gonna... Ashenfeld's gonna just remove that. Okay. Well, that didn't work. All right, GMX Experiment. Can we bail ourselves out of this one? Well, we have a Velox. And that means Garunix 2. Okay, this one's gonna stick. But we're going to chain all of the cards. So the Telusion is going to tag out. And we're going to use the Ateo to summon itself and bounce a card. Nope, we're going to fill the zones instead. Okay, nope, we're just going to get nuked. Okay, Adventurous Arion protects itself because of the Slayer Ateo in the Spell Trap Zone. But the rest of the board is destroyed. At least the monsters. We get back the Glorious Audra, though. And then Garunix Eternity will attempt to destroy the Argostar's home stadium. That'll be met with Iteo, which will bounce it back to the hand to protect it instead. Next up, normal summon GMX Researcher Solande, which will summon a Dino Deneen from the deck. And that will add a GMX monster to our hand. We'll choose Kimbridge. Dino Deneen, Fusion Shokan. From the hand, we make an Alos. And we'll attack. Alos can destroy the Giant Slayer, Argostar's Slayer Tail. Normally, these can't be destroyed by battle because it's Swift Kapane, but it destroys it by effect, so that's fine. But Argostar gets to keep playing. Banish Giant Slayers to bounce some cards. Goodbye. Activate that field spell again. Get back a copy of the Slayer Tail. Normal summon Glorious Audra. And we'll use its effect to place 2 traps. And we will summon back the Telusion by banishing 2 names. And we'll go ahead and fuse into Flux Ashenfeld, getting back a Gallant Granite. Flux will bounce itself and that Garunix, and that will be a lethal line. Game 2, this time featuring the duelist on the opposite side. We'll start with Stake Your Soul. We'll reveal Heavy Borgar to summon the Mad Love from the deck, and that gets the Vanquish Soul start. And we are starting, all right. We target the Mad Love and... Ooh, Ghost Ogre. Never mind, not starting at all. Heavy Borgar will tag out the Mad Love to summon itself, and then we'll draw a card, see if that gets us to a better play. And here we go. We got a Solande off the top. That's a good one. Normal summon. It's like Tour Guide, except for a dinosaur. Here's the Dino Deneen, and that'll get us a search of a GMX card, and that will choose the Kimbridge. And then we can go ahead and use it to fusion summon with itself and the Soland, and that gets us into the Velox. Tachyon will then reveal the giant red hand, and that gets us a Search of the Holisu. That's a cool interaction. Caesar Valius comes down, returning the Heavy Burger to hand, and we will pass there. Ultimate Slayer will annihilate the Velox, and then the Skull Knight will threaten the Caesar Valius. Luckily, Vanquish Soul can tag out for the Heavy Burger. That'll protect it. Heavy Burger will now reveal a Dark, and that'll draw a card. Beta, the Magnet Warrior, normal summon, search for the Sigma Minus. And then we can use that to fusion summon into the Plasma Magnum. That gets a copy of Magnet Bonding. Magnet Bonding activates. And we will add a card from our deck to our hand. And we choose Epsilon, not the plus minus. Interesting. We use the Plasma Magnum effect. We will dump a Telusion to bonus normal summon the Epsilon, which allows us to dump the Sigma Plus, which gets back the Sigma Minus. And we will bounce back the Beta to hand. Light Dragon Agonister comes down to remove the Heavy Burger, and then Telusion will summon itself by banishing 2 names from the graveyard. Attack, 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 leaving Vanquish Soul on 900 life points. You should have gone for the head. Main phase 2 will use Holisu, reveal Light and Dark. Sorry, Fire and Dark. Trying to summon a monster from the deck. Ghost Ogre comes down, and then we'll use Caesar Valius, targeting the Holisu to get it out of there, but Telusion will steal control of the Holisu. But as they're about to learn, you don't have to still control the Vanquish Soul monster to bounce it. So nice Telusion, nice Ghost Ogre. Anyway, I still summon Rosin from the deck. Search for the Heavy Burger, and then Rosin can reveal Dark and Fire, destroy a card or not. Light Dragon Agonister will protect it. Caesar Valius can reveal 3 to destroy the Telusion though, and now we get to play the game. Dimensional Fissure, activate. Caesar Valius, activate to destroy and then banish that Plasma Magnum. Rosin will activate to destroy and then banish that Light Dragon Agonister. Tag out the Rosin for the Heavy Burger. Normal summon a Mad Love. Get a copy of the Snow Devil just in case something goes wrong. Heavy Burger can reveal 2 cards to deal 1500 burn, and that will be lethal. It's time for game 3, and I see some devious cards. In fact, that first one is the devious card, Dimension Shifter. How will magnets play into Shifter? They will set pass. GMX, however, does not care. Kimbridge, search them for the 3rd copy of the experiment. Sure, whatever. And now we will fusion summon. Eventually. 2,800 life points later, we banish 2 material summon an Alos, and did you know Alos can just summon from the banishment? It doesn't even care. Here's a Luxion again, and that gets us into 7th Tachyon. And, of course, we can rank up into the Hope Harbinger. 7th Tachyon reveals the Battle Boxer to search for Rosin. Put back one of those experiments, and then normal summon the Rosin to get into the Heavy Burger. Caesar Valius will tag out the Rosin. And we will be met by Nibiru, the Primal Being, which will tribute both names and end the turn. A huge token on the field, though. Luckily for the Magnet Warrior, they have the plus minus in hand. They can mill 2 names to summon it and get back the Epsilon in the process. That'll dump the Omega Plus and then get back the Sigma Plus. Overlay 2 level 4s for the Granite Gallant, and we can get any search in the deck we want. We choose the Sigma Minus. Sigma Minus fusion from the hand into Plasma Magnum, which gets us a search of Magnet Induction. And then Omega Plus can cycle the plus minus and then summon itself. Here comes Magnet Induction. We summon from the deck another Sigma Minus. We just keep summoning this guy. That'll send a Telusion to the graveyard, which will immediately summon itself. Overlay for the Argostar's Adventurous Ardrion, and we start just bridging right over. Hello, Giant Slaying. Hello, Glorious Audra. Normal summon, Glorious Audra. Effect. Put 2 traps face up, the Taidio and the Ateo. Taidio gets a search and a summon. That's a 2000 body and a dream. We have the Argostar's home stadium, and we will return the trap to activate Magnet Bonding. Now we have space for the fusion of a Phlox Oceanfeld. Flux luckily can remove the Nibiru token and the Nibiru for next turn if something weird happens, and we attack, 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 and that will be a W for Magnet Warriors. Here is Magnet Warrior Argostars, a deck I'm sure that you've wondered about every day in your entire life, featuring Mulchammy Fualos, Ultimate Slayer, Nibiru, Ghost Ogre, lots of fun cards. You notice the main deck engine doesn't really have any points. We even have room for a Zeus, as you saw. The Zeus is quite impactful. Very cool to see Zeus get played. Cosmic Cyclone, Grand Horn of Heaven, Gamma Seals, Gordian Slicers in the side. Lots of fun breakers. And here is the spicy deck. GMX Vanquish Soul. All your regular Vanquish Soul names with triple Durandal to search for the one copy of Rosin to save points. And we have triple Dimension Shifter, of course. Link Apple for upstart effects. Triple 7th Tachyon. It's still free for some reason. Solande, Kimridge, and Dino Deneen are the only GMX names in the deck. It's a little bit of a minimal GMX engine, but it does a good job. And since you always pretty much hit the Duggeron, you're just going to get into that Drax Luxion combo that you saw a lot. We have these 3 targets here for the 7th Tachyon, all 3 of which actually came up in that match, which is kind of cool. Here's your fusion targets, double Drax Luxion to keep searching. Some other rank 8s for flexible effects, including that of course, the number 38 Titanic Galaxy. Classic, I love that card. We have some Radiance, Dimension Fissures, Cosmic Cyclones, Vados, and Lanceas in the side. Our next matchup is one of those matchups that has probably never existed outside of Genesis before. This is Earth Machine versus Spright Mannadium. We'll begin with the Mannadium player with a Peaceful Planet Calarium searching for a Mannadium Torrid. They will normal summon the Realm Heart, getting them a search of Mannadium Reframing. This is an interesting card. We see it splashed a lot in decks such as White Forest and such, but it's really interesting to see it in its own deck. Do you know it has a secret effect? We will use Abscission to destroy the Torrid that we special summoned and search for another copy of Calarium before triggering a bunch of effects. We'll get back the Torrid. We'll also get a Meek from the deck before we summon Spright Blue from our hand, searching for Spright Jet. We then synchro up into the Trisuta, getting back a Torrid before we go into Vsauce Amritara, searching for Realm Eulogy, which, if you haven't read this card before, it's kind of like Final Bringer of the End Times, except it negates a card instead of destroys one. It's a cool card. Rykart hits the field, and that gives us a search, and then because there are 3 defense mode monsters, we get a draw, and we happen to draw a Dark Ruler no more. That's a pretty good card. We can synchro into Coral Dragon before using our Scareclaw Arrival, and synchroing up into Chenying, getting a draw from Coral Dragon. It's a Perulia, not what we were hoping for, but the Spright Jet can get us a Spright Double Cross, which is pretty good, before Gigantic Spright comes down to lock us into level 2 monsters, summoning Spright Carrot from the deck. We set the Reframing, we set the Realm Eulogy, we set the Spright Double Cross. And here we go. Start with Book of Eclipse, negated by Reframing. At least it's out of the way. All right, normal summon Infinitrack Harvester, and we'll search for a Brutal Dozer, and we'll see if we can get in that way. Spright Double Cross is going to eat the Harvester. It is attached. Okay, Vertiself, pitch Therian King Regulus. Summon back Regulus. The negate is live now. All right, here's the secret effect of Reframing. Banish it, recycle 3 Mannadiums. It's not that exciting. But it does trigger the Chenying because a card was banished. That'll be met with in Regulus. It's been forced out. Okay, Vertiself, send Convex Knight, summon Convex Knight. Convex Knight, negated by the Realm Eulogy. Oh no. Uh-oh, this is tough. And Calarium gets the Amritara back. Okay, Brutal Dozer. Tribute the Convex Knight, summon a name from the deck. Can we make it to a River Stormer? Will it search a card? Yes! We get the Blue Train. We might still be in this. Activate the effect of the Blue Train to get the Revolving Switchyard. Activate the Revolving Switchyard. And now the Blue Train can revive itself alongside another Earth Machine. We'll choose another copy of the Blue Train. The effect of Switchyard to extend from the deck will be negated by Spright Carrot, tributing the Gigantic Spright. It'll be negated and destroyed. Okay, we have 2 level 10 monsters though. We can make the Flying Launcher, searching for the Babbledecker, which we can normal summon. And then it can rank up into a Gustav Max all by itself. That's 2,000 straight to the dome. The Flying Cannon can destroy the Calarium. And we upgrade into the Juggernaut Leeb. Tunneler can get us some cards, but Leeb's about to do tons and tons of damage. Heavy Forward gets us a search of a Road Roller. Nice draw off the top of the deck from the Tunneler. And then we can attach it to the Leeb, which gives it another attack. Rank up the Gustav into Gustav before Leeb goes attack, attack, attack. And that's going to be a swift OTK by the Trains. Game 2. Let's see if Mannadium can hold up a little bit better. They'll start with in this time, the Primitive Planet, not the Peaceful Planet. And they'll go into Rykart, normal summon for a Scareclaw Arrival. They already have a Mannadium Torrid and Meek in hand. They'll summon both and be met by Fualos. Trisutka is Synchro Summoned, gets back a Torrid before going into Vsauce Armatara. That's 2 draws for the Earth Machine player. That's not a good sign. We do have a Reframing, though. That's at least 1 good negate. Armatara can destroy a Meek, getting us a Meek and another draw, because we're under Fualos. Scarecrow Arrival can be used to get a Draco Berserker of the Tenyi in play. Another draw. We set a Realm Eulogy and a Reframing. Earth Machine starting with 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards in hand. One of which is Darkhold, forcing out the Reframing immediately. But can they deal with the Illusion Gate afterwards? I think I'll be taking that Draco Berserker. As Heavy Forward gets an Infinite Track Harvester. This is not looking good. Blue Train also gets a Revolving Switch Yard. We have all the gas. And there are no breaks in sight. Infinite Track Harvester, normal summon. Derricrane triggered. That is a Brutal Dozer added to hand. Regulus can even summon by equipping that Blue Train to it. And it can't be long until we have 8,000 on board. Reframing can recycle some cards, but I don't think that does anything. Machina Fortress hits the graveyard. We have the Flying Launcher, which can annihilate the back row. Nibiru is threatened, but we have the king in play. Nibiru is negated, and that's once per turn. We can normal summon... We can, search for the Babel Decker. We can use the Flying Launcher to destroy all of the back row. And that's going to be game for sure. A Swift 2-0 for the Earth Machine player, who is on Cannon Soldier MK2, which means that they have the ability to FTK under certain conditions. The Earth Machine FTK in Genesis is still being experimented, like the lapping still happening. It's not exactly known. About half hands in this deck can get to it, which is kind of impressive, actually. We are, of course, featuring the Subspace Battle and Vernacells for lots and lots of gas alongside a fat Machina package. We have some Karakuris in the extra deck because we have the Toad in the side as well. So we have the Synchro package. This is for going first alongside the Revolution Synchron. XYZ Late to search for Unbreakable XYZ Barrier alongside Artifact Lancea, Twin Twisters, the third Jizukiro, Dark Holes, and Dark Ruler No More. Here is the Mannadium deck list featuring Perulia, Nibiru, a bunch of Sprites, Dark Ruler No More in the main, and paying 10 points each for Sprite Starter, which honestly feels like highway robbery seeing how this deck performed. We got the Vengeance Dragon, Livelazable, Chen Ying, Breako Berserker for generic options in the extra deck, alongside Charge Warrior and Silvera, one of my favorites. Gigantic Sprite being 15, also very expensive. I think this deck could come down in points. It is very fun to see it in action, though. This next match is another deck that you have never heard of. This is Rokket, Dark Magician, yes, you heard that right, versus Labyrnth. Labyrnth will start with double Chandraliger to get a big Welcome Labyrinth into play, and they will use the Arias in their hand to set a Welcome Labyrinth and activate it this turn. They'll go ahead and use it to summon the Lovely Lab from the deck. Lovely Lab can get back that Welcome Labyrinth, and they have a Trap Trick in hand, they can set that. And that's the end of the turn. Dark Magician Girl, the Magician's Apprentice, comes down on the Dark Magician side, searching for a Shining Sarcophagus. Shining Sarc will then search for Gandora G! It's going to come down and threaten the whole board. But will there be a response? Yes, Big Welcome Labyrinth will summon a Stovey Torvi, returning it to the hand, and then Lovely Labyrinth will be able to destroy Gandora before it gets to activate, and that'll also trigger the Chandraliger to return to hand. Goodbye, Gandora. And also goodbye, Dark Magician Girl. And hello, Dark Magician of Destruction. And Dark Magic Attack will destroy the back row one way or another. Welcome Labyrinth will be changed to summon Ariana from the deck. Ariana will search for another copy of Arias, but the Trap Trick will be destroyed, of course. Allure of Darkness comes down, drawing 2 cards and banishing Abserato Dragon, before Dark Magician, the Magician of Black Magic, comes down, followed by a normal summon of Rokket Tracer. Rokket Tracer destroys Dark Magician, the Magician of Black Magic. And that triggers it to resummon itself, alongside summoning Rocket Loader from the deck, which searches for another copy of Abserato Dragon. Look at this full board. We get a Gaze of Timaeus as well. Here comes the Draco Berserker of the Tenyi. It comes down, it attacks. Dark Magician attacks, other Dark Magician attacks. But we leave Labyrinth on 2,600, and they have a piece of furniture to set a Labyrinth setup. Oh, that's a tongue twister. We pass them back, and their hand is Arias with Archfiend's Playtime, a new card that is actually, this is not good. They set that and they activate it. That allows them to summon from the deck an Archfiend monster. They'll summon the Royal Archfiend, and then that'll tribute to get another Archfiend card. search to the hand. They'll choose the Highness Archfiend, which when normal summoned, they can banish the Royal Archfiend to search for 2 Archfiend cards, including the Archfiend's Usurpation, which when activated can set another Archfiend card directly from the deck, and it can be activated this turn. It's the Archfiend's Ghastly Glitch, and because there's a Fiend, that means that they can destroy a card and send a Fiend from the deck to the graveyard. Draco Berserker of the Tenyi is eliminated as Backjack hits the graveyard as all the furniture is triggered, and Labyrnth setup shuffles 2 Labyrnth names back in the deck and sets the simultaneous equation cannons and trap trick from the deck. Suddenly, Labyrnth is looking like they are in control of this match. Furniture returns to the hand, furniture returns to the field, and Backjack looks at the top of the deck. Shining Sarcophagus can trigger because a monster was special summoned, pitching a card to send it to the graveyard. But Stovey Torby can simply be chained to set a big welcome from the deck. Not sure that accomplishes much. Labyrnth sets another copy of Ghastly Glitch and goes to the end phase, where the Gaze of Timaeus will shuffle back a Dark Magician for the new Timaeus retrain, and that'll snipe the big welcome Labyrnth in the end phase. We'll see if that does enough. Future Silence activated, searching for another copy of Dark Magician Girl, the Magician's Apprentice. Dark Magician of Destruction comes down by banishing the Magician of Black Magic, searching for Soul Servant, stacking the deck, and putting Dark Magic Attack back on the top, banishing itself, searching for Dark Magic Attack. But now we see the true horror that is Labyrnth, the simultaneous equation cannons, and the Archfiend's Ghastly Glitch in combination, manipulating the number of cards on the field, sending a Backjack to the graveyard, and then banish, return, and goodbye, board. It was nice knowing you. All that's left is the Timaeus, because they are unaffected until the end of the next turn. Backjack in the graveyard, furniture. We can stack the deck once again. Let's see if we find anything good this time. Maybe. Dark Magician Girl comes down, sending Abserato Dragon. Suddenly, we get lots of value, but will it be enough to get back into this game? We have a Rokket Tracer, and we can synchro into the Arms of Genix, return 0. Uh-oh, Backjack's coming down, but that will be negated by the Arms of Genix, return 0. We have a Dark to banish, and that means Dark Magician will take a victory. Let's see how game 2 goes. Labyrnth will start with the Archfiend's Usurpation, getting them directly into the Archfiend's playtime. That'll let them summon from the deck. This is going to be the same line that we saw last game. They're going to summon the Royal Archfiend, which will attribute itself, and that gets them into the Highness Archfiend, which will normal summon, and then banish a Archfiend card to search for 2 more. We get Usurpation and Ghastly Glitch in this case. And look at these powerful cards in hand. We have Ghastly Glitch, we have Usurpation, and we're holding some gas in the tank. Dark Magician will start with Twin Twisters to clear the back row, but they were all bluffs. Usurpation, activate. Ghastly Glitch, activate. We get a Backjack in the graveyard. We get a new trap set directly to our back row. Absoluter Dragon will search for the Dark Magician player, and Backjack will stack the deck of the Labyrnth player. Dark Magician Girl comes down, searching for Shining Sarcophagus. And playtime will be activated now before Dark Magician of Destruction is activated. Backjack will snipe a Welcome Labyrnth off the top as Archfiend's Advent comes out and steals control of the Dark Magician Girl. No Dark Magician of Destruction for you. But they didn't expect the hard-drawn Gandora G. Or did they? Welcome Labyrnth comes down, Lovely Labyrnth hits the field, and Dominus Spark from the hand can clear the Gandora before its ignition effect can activate, and then Lovely Labyrnth will even get to destroy a card in their hand. How rude. Shining Sark will search for a Dark Magician, and that will be summoned, and we will be able to get to the Dark Magician of Destruction. That'll search us for the Gaze of Timaeus, as Rokket Tracer then will go ahead and destroy the Dark Magician, and summon the Rokket Loader from the deck. Rokket Loader searching for Abserato Dragon. Summoning itself. But that'll be met by Arias, and we're loading a cannon, and this is going to be disgusting. It's going to be violent. The cannon activates, and the board is gone. Banished. All they have is Dark Magician Girl, Gaze of Timaeus, and a Dream. Lovely Labyrnth can reset the cannon as well, and then they'll enter battle phase and go for some pretty big damage, but not lethal. Dark Magician gets to play another turn, and they'll use the Gaze of Timaeus to summon the Timaeus. And snipe a back row, they hit the Usurpation. And they draw Dark Magician Girl for turn. Timaeus attacks, it does some damage. And then they tribute summon the Dark Magician Girl, Magician's Apprentice, to get another copy of Shining Sark. Shining Sark, activate. And search for Dark Magician Girl, we're in a loop. Banish for a new copy of Dark Magician of Destruction, which will get us Soul Servant. How will we stack the deck? We place Gaze of Timaeus on the top, and then banish Soul Servant to draw it. Set the Gaze and pass. Top deck another cannon and pass back. Dark Magician top decks Illusion of Chaos and then uses Shining Star to search for a Future Silence. Future Silence pitch for Dark Magician Girl. And then attack mode as Cannon eats the board. Uh-oh. And Welcome Labyrnth resets itself. Yep, that's it. Game 3. Let's see how it goes. Start with Illusion of Chaos, searching for Apprentice Illusion Magician and putting back Apprentice Illusion Magician. Brilliant play. We'll summon the new Apprentice Illusion Magician. The old one wasn't effective. Pitching Illusion Gate and then activating Allure of Darkness, drawing 2 cards and summoning Dark Magician Girl by pitching Dark Magician. We search for the Shining Sarcophagus, and we'll use that to get into the Dark Magician, the Magician of Black Magic. It comes down, and we normal summon Rokket Tracer, destroying the Magician of Black Magic, summoning Rocket Loader, which gets a search, and a Magician of Black Magic, which gets us a float back and set the Magician's Salvation from the deck. Abserato Dragon is searched. Magician's Salvation is activated, sending Eternal Soul from the deck. And we can synchro into the Draco Berserker and make a Dark Magician of Destruction, searching for the Gaze of Timaeus. We make a Chirozzo and then synchro off the rest of the board into Arms of Genesys, return 0 with nothing but darks, but luckily our opponent's on Labyrinth. We only need to negate darks anyway. Eternal Soul and Gaze of Timaeus set. Labyrinth starts, and we use Gaze of Timaeus in the draw phase to make Dark Paladin, which does almost nothing against Labyrinth, so that's an interesting choice. Ariana comes down, searching for a Stovi Torbi, which will get them into something. Well, never mind. It's negated by the Arms of Genesys. But the Labyrinth player can set past. That is what they're good at. Eternal Soul will be activated and used to search for the Dark Magic attack. And then in the draw phase, Eternal Soul will activate to summon a Dark Magician, but then be destroyed by the Ghastly Glitch. And then when Eternal Soul is destroyed, well, so goes the whole board. And the Arms of Genesys can be used to negate the Backjack that was in the graveyard here on the way out. But the board is gone. That's a big blow. Why does Eternal Soul do that? Why is it like that? Who knows? Questions for the scholars. Gandora G comes down. Let's banish the board. Nope. We're going to get banished by the board. Oopsie. Uno reverse. And that'll trigger all of their furniture. God, the cannons are so good. Soul Servant, though, keeps us in this. Gaze of Timaeus, top of the deck. And then draw it. Future Silence activates to get us another copy of Dark Magician Girl, and the infinite value engine just keeps going. Dark Magician Girl pitching Abserator, searching for Rokket Tracer, searching for another copy of the Shining Sarcophagus. We just keep seeing the same cards. You cannot keep them out of our hands. Backjack, though, nope, it's just an Arias false alarm, but there's a cannon! 2 cannons were set. Goodbye, Dark Magician Girl. But hello, Gaze of Timaeus, fusing from the graveyard to make Dark Magician of Destruction. Search for Illusion of Chaos. Dark Magician, Dark Magic attack. Eliminate that Ice Dragon's prison before it does anything. As Shining Star searches for Timaeus, the United Dragon. And then that will go ahead and make a Galaxy Ice Photon Lord. Torrential Tribute, drawn for turn, but that'll be a set pass. Shining Star activates, search for the Dark Magician Girl, Magician's Apprentice. Pitch a Rokket Tracer to summon it, and then summon Dark Magician of Destruction. Search for Illusion of Chaos. Battle phase, attack, and attack. Okay, easy turn. Next up, Labyrinth sets Fualos and passes. Dark Magician draws Future Silence and searches Future Silence. Then the Illusion of Chaos will be used to search for the Apprentice Illusion Magician, putting back Future Silence, pitching Future Silence to summon one. And that'll be met by Torrential Tribute. Ouch. Searching for Dark Magician, and we cannot normal summon Dark Magician on an empty board. That one advertisement lied to us. Labyrinth has the Highness Archfiend, though. Suddenly, Labyrinth looking really good in this. Banishing 1 Archfiend card to search 2 more. Stovi Torbi, setting a big welcome Labyrinth, setting the Ghastly List, setting an Usurpation. And they'll pass back. Illusion of Chaos keeps searching for more cards that say Dark Magician in the name. Shining Circle, search for a card. Nope, destroyed. Backjack in the graveyard, stacking the deck once again. Apprentice Illusion pitching Abserator. That's a double search if I ever saw one. Rokket Tracer. And a Dark Magician. Backjack, though. What's on the top? Archfiend's Playtime. That'll get us a name right from the deck. So we'll build Welcome Labyrinth, getting a lovely Labyrinth, and returning the Archfiend's, the Highness Archfiend. Lovely Labyrinth will be able to destroy a card. Stovi Torbi returns to the field. That Apprentice Illusion's gone. No Dark Magician of Destruction this turn. Another Torrential is drawn for turn. And the lovely Labyrinth can reset the Ice Dragon's prison. Highness Archfiend comes down searching for 2 copies of Archfiend's Absorption. And suddenly, our Labyrnth is in control of this match. Attack! Attack! Archfiend's playtime summons another name from the deck. Royal Archfiend. Attack! It's not lethal. Or is it? Archfiend's Usurpation sets a name from the deck. It is an Archfiend's playtime, but that card is once per turn. So yes, they will survive one more turn. Regular Welcome Labyrnth is set, and we have a full 5 back row. Dimensional Fissure drawn for turn, and I think it's too little too late. Rokket Tracer attacks into the Highness Archfiend, and that does something, I suppose. Battle phase, attack. Attack. And Labyrnth takes the match. Here is the Labyrnth list featuring 1 copy of Royal Archfiend, lots and lots of the Butlers, just the Arias and Ariana though, triple Fualus in the main deck, double Chandraliger, 1 Highness Archfiend. It felt like they had it all the time, but it's searchable. 2 Backjacks, again, another card that felt like they had all the time, but they just had it when they needed it. 1 setup, 3 Usurpations, and 2 Ghastly Glitches. These Archfiend cards are very good. 1 big Welcome Labyrnth. Sorry, 1 Welcome Labyrnth, and there's 1 big Welcome down here. Triple Dominus Spark. Very cool card to see. You don't see it very often. Ice Dragon's Prison at 2. Triple Simultaneous Equation Cannons. Double Daruma Karma Cannon. Double Torrential. Double Trap Trick. These are all at 2, presumably just so Trap Trick can fetch them. And in the extra deck, just a bunch of cannon targets. And in the side deck, they have the Lord of the Heavenly Prison. There's the Archfiend's Advent that we saw stealing the Dark Magician Girl. Lancea, the 3rd Ariana, Illusion Gate, MST, Dark Hole, and Simmel Archfiends as a flexible floodgate to search. And here is Rokket, Dark Magician, featuring Nibiru, the Timaeus, the United Dragon, Absol Router. This is some mad chefery. Fualos in the main deck, Allure of Darkness. You saw the Dark Magic attack. The 1 Soul Servant that felt like it was always there. Future Silence, Eternal Soul, the card that betrays you. Dragon Ravine in the main deck, interestingly, wasn't featured. You got Naruto the Moral Leader, Zombie Stein, a bunch of interesting cards in the extra deck, alongside the 2 Dark Magician of Destructions, another card that felt like there was infinity of them. Artifact Lancea, Illusion Gate, Twin Twisters, Dimensional Fissure, Non-Fusionary, and Stygian Dirt in the side deck. I really like this deck. I think it's a really cool deck. I think these synergies are really unique, and I'm just so happy to see these kinds of really unique strategies come out in Genesis. They could never exist in any other format, and it's just a really beautiful thing, honestly. This next matchup is one that I don't think anybody actually prepared for, and I think everybody was shocked to see actually occur. This is a Labyrnth mirror match. Weirdly, after the deck has never been represented a single time at a weekly, 4 people showed up with Labyrnth this week, and we got a mirror match. So enjoy. Shockingly, Labyrnth will start. They'll start with an Ariana, searching for a piece of furniture, before sending a Coup Clock, and then furniture sending Backjack to the graveyard. The furniture sending Backjack will set the big Welcome Labyrnth, which will go ahead and cycle a Lovely out and get the Ariana back. That'll trigger not only the Coup Clock to get back, but the Backjack in the graveyard, of course, and then the Lovely to destroy a card in the hand. They hit a Simmel Archfiends. Lovely can then reset the big Welcome Labyrnth. They'll set the Archfiend's Ghastly Glitch in their hand, and then when they go to pass priority, they're met by their opponent using Arias to set a trap card, setting the Simultaneous Equation Cannons, which activates. I'm loading my cannon. I'm going to fire. And it hits. Lovely is banished. Follow up with a piece of furniture, sending Ghastly Glitch and setting a Welcome Labyrnth. Normal summon the Ariane, and we will meet that with Backjack, setting an Ice Dragon's Prison off the top of the deck. Welcome Labyrnth summons Ariana, searching for big Welcome Labyrnth, as Ice Dragon's Prison is going to attempt to return the Banishing Favor, chaining a bunch of effects. First a Coup Clock, then a Chandraliger, sending an Ariana, getting a big Welcome Labyrinth, summoning Chandraliger, banish, and then triggering a bunch of furniture names in the graveyard. Chandraliger returns to hand. Coup Clock returns to the field. They enter the battle phase, then activate Big Welcome, summoning Ariane from the deck and returning that Coup Clock to the hand. That triggers the Ariane to search for a Stovey Torvi. And then they will enter the end phase. There is... Oh, I see. It was this player's battle phase and this player's... Oh my goodness. This is confusing. Welcome Labyrinth in the end phase. All right, so it's the top player now. They draw for turn. They activate Welcome Labyrinth, getting an Ariana. Bottom player summons Big Welcome Labyrinth, and now they have Lovely in play, but the top player does not. Let's see if they can find it. Top player gets the the Labyrinth, as Lovely attempts to rip a card. Nope, destroy a field. Okay, Ariana's off the field, and Welcome Labyrinth has been reset. We have entered the main phase, though. Big Welcome Labyrinth can recycle a fiend to our hand. We'll choose this Ariana. That triggers a bunch of furniture to reset itself. Activate Labyrinth, normal summon the Ariana. And then we'll use a furniture to get Welcome Labyrinth from the deck, and we will pass there. Bottom player normal summons Ariana, and then activates Welcome Labyrinth, summoning Arias from the deck, and now they have their own copy of the Labyrinth. Welcome Labyrinth, though, summons Arias from the deck, and then destroys Lovely Labyrinth, triggering not only the top player's Ariana, but all of their furniture pieces. Resummon, reset, draw a card, and then no summon. Okay, Arias, though, will allow us to set a card and then activate it this turn. It's the Ghastly Glitch. Labyrinth, normal, activated, and then Ghastly Glitch activated. We will destroy the opponent's field spell, milling a Stovey Torby, and then the effect of Labyrinth will get back the Lovely Labyrinth. But that will be met by the Equation Cannon. It's the top player's turn to use it, but the bottom player is crafty. They chain Big Welcome Labyrinth to change the number of cards, and that causes the cannon to misfire. It also gets their furniture piece back, which they'll immediately go ahead and use to get a copy of the Big Welcome Labyrinth and pass there. Top player uses a furniture piece to get Labyrinth set up to infinitely loop the cycle as they top deck a Trap Trick return and then use Coup Clock and then use the Labyrinth setup. Bottom player will use Big Welcome Labyrinth in response, and that will trigger the Arias of the top player in the graveyard. That Arias will trigger this Arias, which will trigger, well, which they will then respond to with a Welcome Labyrinth, summoning a Chandraligar. And suddenly there's a bunch of Ariases all over the place. We are butlering everything. Monsters are returning, monsters are ascending, monsters are being destroyed. And the top player sets Ice Dragon's Prison and Dogmatica Punishment from the deck. Is this the swing they need to take control of this game? Yes. Yes, in fact it is. Game 2. This time we will start with the bottom player. Ariana will normal summon and then pitch a card to summon Ariana the Labyrinth Servant. We'll go ahead and search for a Chandraligar. And then activate Labyrinth, setting Ice Dragon's Prison and using the furniture piece to set Big Welcome Labyrinth. The top player in the end phase will use their own furniture piece to set their own Welcome Labyrinth. To activate Welcome Labyrinth and summon Ariana from the deck, getting a search of a Chandraligar. That's in the draw phase. Standby main. Main phase, use the Big Welcome Labyrinth to recycle the Ariana, and that'll trigger a furniture piece. They then kaiju the opponent's Ariana and go ahead and activate Coup Clock and then set the simultaneous Equation Cannons. Will the cannons connect? Well, with the Big Welcome Labyrinth, and then the Labyrinth destroying the Radiant, that does change the math. Will the cannons connect? No, misfire. That triggers all sorts of effects, though. Furniture pieces, Ariana. And they top deck the Big Welcome Labyrinth. Good card. Labyrinth allows them to summon the Ariana. And then a furniture piece is activated and then met with Ice Dragon's Prison. And then another furniture piece. This match is hairy. I don't know how a human being is supposed to play this matchup. We summon the opponent's Coup Clock. That's usually a 1-of, so this could be a devastating loss to have that Coup Clock banished alongside the Ariana. Top player does get the Big Welcome Labyrinth from the deck, though. But because a non-Labyrinth trap was activated, Labyrinth cycles back in Ariana from the graveyard, getting a search. And the bottom player is starting to snowball with their own copy of Coup Clock. And then Welcome Labyrinth. There's a lovely Labyrinth. Uh-oh. And when the bottom player draws for turn, the top player sees the writing on the wall. It's time for the all-important Game 3 that determines possibly the most complicated mirror match of all time. This is an incredible match. Ariana comes down and searches for Labyrinth to start from the top player. They activate the Labyrinth, setting Welcome Labyrinth, and then in the end phase, they'll use a furniture piece to get a Big Welcome Labyrinth. Set. Ooh. That is a fun full combo. Ice Dragon's Prison, Big Welcome, Trap Trick. But the top player in the end phase has a lot of plays. They activate Welcome and Big Welcome. And with the help of Labyrnth, they will snipe a trap trick off the board. They have a lovely Labyrinth triggering all of their furniture pieces all alongside Ariane, getting a search. And we're going to keep sniping the back row. There goes one of the big welcomes. Oh my goodness, the pain doesn't end. Furniture piece send Backjack in this same end phase. Backjack revealing, reshuffling the top of the deck, and then sending the equation cannon off the top of the deck. Oh my goodness. Big welcome, Labyrnth. It's so funny. The top player was playing on the bottom player's turn, and now the bottom player will be playing on the top player's turn. In the top player's draw phase, the bottom player uses Big Welcome Labyrinth to summon and then reset a Stovey Torvi. And then the top player will get his normal summon their Ariana and search for a copy of their own Stovey Torvi. Battle phase, however, Coup Clock and then a furniture piece will allow Welcome Labyrinth to interrupt the battle. And now a lot is happening. Coup Clock goes to reset itself, met with the Welcome Labyrinth, met with Ice Dragon's Prison. Okay, so what happened here was the Ice Dragon's Prison was going to attempt to banish the Lovely, but then in the graveyard, the Big Welcome Labyrinth was chained to protect the Lovely, and at that point, with not enough follow-up, the bottom players surrendered. Here is the first Labyrinth list. You'll notice out of all the different Labyrinth lists I'm showing today, they all are actually different, which is quite interesting. This was the, to be clear, this was the losing one for this match, though I don't think it's because the deck building was poor. I think it's just how the draws went, etc. There's Absolute King Backjack in the main, alongside all three of the names, one Harris Archfiend to pair with three Royal Archfiends, double Usurption, and the one Labyrinth. And notably with this build, 3 copies of Big Welcome Labyrinth, 60 points spent there with only one Welcome Labyrinth, a single copy of Trap Pollock, Trap Track, and Transaction Rollback, say that 3 times fast, and Symbol Archfiends in the main. The extra deck is, of course, for the cannons, and in the side deck, we have lots of options for that one trap trick with Lost Wind, Typhoon, Symbol Archfiends, Ice Dragon's Prison. We have Lord of the Heavenly Prison in case we need it for any matchup, Lava Golems, and some more Labyrinth cards to fill out the main. Here is the one that won the feature match here. It features all 3 of the butlers as well. It only has 2 of the Big Welcome Labyrinth, but it has 2 of the Welcome Labyrinth, and it has Fiendish Rhino Warrior and the Diabolica, which are, those are fun choices, especially if you're into NR. It has Dogmatica Punishment and Ice Dragon's Prison in the main as well. The cannons, though, these are the big boys. Noticing here they have Typhon in the extra deck, which is interesting. Didn't see it today, but maybe someday it'll do something. They also have Lord of the Heavenly Prisons in the extra deck, Lava Golem, Radiant, Typhoon, Eradicator, Epidemic Virus, Full Force Virus, Mudora, and Shared Ride for some villainous side decking. Next up is GMX Vanquish Soul again, this time versus Unchained. And Vanquish Soul will start with Shifter, even though the Unchained player started the game, and they will just simply set pass. This might be a swift one unless the Nibiru carries hard. GMX researches Solande, summons a Deneen from the deck. That will give them a search. They choose the Kimridge. They'll go ahead and fusion summon, this time without any RNG. And they will make Alos. Kimridge will get them into the experiment number 55. And they're just going to keep fusioning. Let's see how many it takes. 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, wow. Quick one this time. We get a Velox. And the Alos can get back the Dogoran. And, oops, there's Nibiru. Oops, all tokens. Link Apple, draw me a good card. Well, it's Holly's too. That's a good card. 7 attacking against Rosin. Suddenly, looking pretty good. Put back this shifter that we don't need. And go ahead and reveal a name for Holly Sue. And then reveal Fire and Dark. Wow, that's convenient, isn't it? Mad Love is summoned from the deck and searches for the Vanquish Soul start, which activates and targets the Mad Love, searching for Caesar Valius. The gang's all here. Except Borger. Caesar comes down, recycling the Holly Sue. And Mad Love will, I think they use the effect to lower a monster by 500. That's why Nibiru is all 100. And then Vanquish Soul start in the end phase is going to set the Snow Devil. And then, they're going to also use the Caesar Values to pop a back row. But Unchained doesn't draw a starter, so we're going to go to game 2. Let's see how Unchained cracks back. They will set an Abominable Chamber and Destroy it to summon Sharvara, which will summon a Shayama from the deck. They summon an Aruha, and then the Shayama will reset the chamber by destroying the Aruha, which summons Shayama. And suddenly there's a Caesar on the board. The Wave High King himself. Normal summons Solande. Can it play through Caesar? Well, can't play through Effect Veiler, that's for sure. No matter, we have the experiment. Oh, yes matter, there's a Hive King Caesar. Okay, what up? Oh, that also detaches Sharvara, which triggers it. It sets an escape from the Unchained. Link Apple, draw a card, and then 7th Tachyon. Search for the Chaos Dragon Legionnaire. What's interesting here is the Link Apple, it banished the number 105, so the Tachyon couldn't search for Raisin, and they already had the Holly Suit in hand, so they had to search for Legionnaire. So their search wasn't that useful because they got greedy with a draw first, and now they are just kind of gonna pass. The Caesar negated Holly Suit's effect to summon, and now Unchained is in the driver's seat. The Abominable Chamber summons back the Sharvara, and then the Shayama will summon itself back, resetting the Abominable Chamber, which will be destroyed by Sarama to get an Unchained Soul from the deck. And, yeah, look at this. That's Unchained victory. All right, game 3, and Vanquish Soul has, of course, opened up with another banished card. Oh, that's a bit of a common sight, isn't it? Please nerf. Experiment number 55 comes down, and how much will we pay for an Alos? The low price of 1,600. What a bargain. Alos summons back a Dogoran, and we get into the Drags Luxion. Hello, 7th Tachyon. This is really free, isn't it? Drags Luxion, activate! Rank up into Titanic Galaxy as Madlove hits the field. We get our start, and we basically get into the entire engine that we want from here. Vanquish Soul start targets the Madlove to get a Holisu. 7th Tachyon will go ahead and search for a copy of the Chaos Dragon Legionnaire, as Madlove will bounce itself to the hand to give the Holisu a reveal. And then Holisu can start summoning names from the deck. Holisu comes down, and there's a Fire and a Dark revealed, and they're going to summon the Heavy Borger from the deck. They'll simply draw one card and go ahead and pass into the end phase, where start will get them their Snow Devil. Good luck, Unchained. Start off with Borger drawing a card, and then Holisu summoning a monster directly from the deck. Here's Raisin, and that means the gang's all here as Caesar Valius hits the hand. Unchained starts with Abomination's Prison, as Caesar Valius tags out the Holisu. Abomination's Prison will search for an Aruha, and then we will set Escape to the Unchained, and then destroy it to summon the Aruha. Escape to the Unchained summons the Abominable Unchained Soul from the deck, which activates to destroy a card, and that will be met by the Snow Devil, protecting all of the Vanquish Soul monsters from destruction by card effects, since they will be revealing all 3 attributes: burning, summoning, burning, and not destroying. I guess they didn't want to destroy the Unchained monsters. Don't know if that was intentional or if they just clicked no. However, the Titanic Galaxy is gone. Goodbye. Sharvara attempts to summon itself by destroying the Aruha. However, Madlove will bounce it, as it is the monster with the lowest defense on the field. And then the Abominable Unchained Soul will try to get into battle. But the field spell will actually protect the Caesar Valius, so they can't crash. A-Bomb's banished, and I guess they just shame scoop. Here is the Unchained deck. When it doesn't have to play through Dimension Fissure, it does a lot better, featuring Versago the Destroyer for some fun fusion effects, alongside the Mutiny in the Sky, Archfiend Eris alongside triple Archfiend Usurpation in the main deck, Archfiend Strategy, and Ghastly Glitch. Not only Labyrnth can take advantage of these new Archfiend cards, also triple Dark World Punishment, just because we ball. We got some fun XYZs, Dante, we got Wallow, XYZ armor cards, Double Luce, and Colorless. This is I think the main use of the Versago the Destroyer is to pretend it's Rainbow Overlord of Dark World for this fusion. And in the side deck, we have every breaker in the universe: Heavy Storm, Illusion Gate, Dark Hole, Dark Ruler, No More, Final Bringer, and similar Archfiends. Where were these heavy storms when we needed them against Dimensional Fissure? Our final matchup of this week is Gem Knights again, this time versus Clown Crew. We start on the Gem Knight side with the Hollow Core, and that is met by Fuelos. Vigneal's Blessing sends the Nephrim to the graveyard, which summons itself by pitching Google it, and we are going to Value Town. Nephirim gets a Gem Knight Dispersion, and Googlet will get us a Forbidden Droplet to pair with the Forbidden Crown that's already in our hand. Gem Knight Dispersion comes down, and we will search for the Gem Armadillo. Nephirim effect give us a bonus normal summon, where we can normal summon the Gem Armadillo, and we will grab a Gem Knight Quartz with its search effect. And then we'll set past as to not play into Flualos too much. Forbidden Crown and Droplet set is a formidable barrier to deal with. Clown Crew starts off with Malabarisme, summoning 2 to tribute for a Flouanderies and Snarl, which is interesting monster. It has 1 effect that lets you summon 3 times this turn, and it can do like a Book of Eclipse type of effect. However, because we tributed the Fiends and the it was a Diabolo? Yes. We set a spell and a trap, Soiree and Matinee, and we have a new face as well. Snell gets in for some damage, but it looks like the Clown Crew player is just going to set pass. In the end phase, they draw Bianca Viso Malabarisme off of the Operatics? What kind of draw is that? That's so custom. All right, Gem Knights, you need a good draw. Your opponent has the new face, so they're going to start getting back some card advantage. This is an uphill fight. They draw into the Herald of Greenlight. Ooh, Exciton Knight. That's a good card. Will it stick? Oh, no. They're going to use the Soiree Chaining Droplet. That's going to negate it. Yikes. And now they have a full board as well. Okay. Activate Gem Knight Dispersion. Fusion Summon. Okay, that's going to be met with the Soiree in the graveyard to do a tribute summon. They'll chain the Exciton Knight. I think this mostly just to get the materials off of there. Or maybe the button was glowing. Bianca Viso comes down, tributing a couple of names, as we fuse using 2 names from the deck to make the Rose Diamond. So now we have a couple of triggers in the graveyard. Nephirim is going to try to summon itself back. Quartz is going to give us back a name. The Clown Crew new face, because 2 monsters were tribute for Bianca Viso, is targeting 2 cards to be destroyed. We're going to return all fusion monsters. Uh-oh. And we're also going to return a Clown Crew card from the graveyard to our hand. Chainlink 5. Bianca Viso, Chainlink 6. That's going to go ahead and draw some cards. We're going to next up use the Lady Diamond effect. When your opponent activates a monster effect, you can banish a Gem Knight card from the graveyard to destroy a card. So the Gem Knight Lady Diamond is going to banish a Dispersion to go ahead and destroy one of their cards. And the Forbidden Crown will be chained. That can negate one of their effects. And finally, Chainlink 9. Chainlink 9 Forbidden Droplet, sending 2 to negate the Bianca Viso and the Snarl. We build the chain backwards. Cards are being popped. New face is gone. Cards are being shuffled. Cards are going to be returning to the hand as well. Nephirim hits the field. And we have finally made it to a new chain. The whole Clown Crew board is negated except the Operatics. And the Gem Knight player still has gas. Nephirim search effect and Quartz in hand. Nephirim searches for another copy of Dispersion as the Exciton Knight ranks up into the XYZ Armor Fortress, searching for full armored XYZ. Nephirim gives a bonus normal summon. Here comes Gem Knight Quartz, overlay for Diagusto Emerald, detach Quartz, shuffle 3 cards, draw 1, and then trigger Gem Knight Quartz as well. We draw a Candina. Oh, I guess Quartz has already been used this turn. We top deck the Candina, though. What a good top deck. That gets us into the Trickstar Light Stage. Activate and get another search. Here is the Trickstar Aqua Angel. Light Stage forces out the back row. It's now Malabarisme, summoning 2 copies of Fiends. Interesting. Okay. Gem Knight Dispersion. Activate. Search for another Quartz. Sounded like Minecraft in here with how much Quartz we have. Go ahead and use Quartz because our opponent controls monsters to get into Brilliant Fusion, sending Eva Nephirim to summon the Rose Diamond yet again. Eva triggers, banishing 2 fairies to search for orange and green light. Oh my goodness, how do you ever come back from this? Gem Knight Fusion, banishing a Quartz to give itself back to the hand. As Brilliant Fusion pitches a spell card to restore this monster to full attack points. We go to battle phase, and we clear 2 bodies, and go into main phase 2. Gem Knight Fusion returns to hand. We pass, and in the end phase, Operatics will draw 2 cards, and they draw another card. They have 2 green lights in hand, and a Dream. Preparation of Rites will start their turn, searching for a Clown Crew Flare. As the Winged Dragon of Ra Sphere Mode tributes the board. 1, 2, 3 monsters on the board. Exactly what we need to summon a Divine Beast and end the duel. Alright, hopefully our opponent doesn't ball on us this time. Vinyolf's Blessing activates, send Nephrim to the graveyard, sending a Googlet to summon itself. And once again, we are going to Value Town. Nephrim searching for a Gem Knight card. Googlet searching for a Forbidden card. Not forbidden on the ban list, forbidden as in the archetype. Gem Knight Quartz is searched, and Gem Knight Dispersion is activated. We search for a copy of Gem Armadillo. Nephrim bonus summon will let us summon that Gem Armadillo and get another search. This time, the Gem Knight Hollow Core. Overlay Shokan for the Dugares. And this is an interesting one. Gem Knight Fusion is pitched for the Hollow Core. Artifact Lad Seiya activated in response to prevent the Gem Knight Fusion from ever recycling itself. Very interesting. Dugares activated. They're going to choose to draw 2 cards, then discard one of them. That's met by the Herald of Orange Light. But that, in turn, was met by another Herald of Orange Light. This is Herald on Herald crime, as the Dugares is allowed to resolve drawing 2 and pitching a Gem Knight Dispersion. However, the Clown Crew player has discarded a Googlet. This is just a Googlet mirror match, searching for their own copy of Forbidden Droplet. We overlaid the Dugares into the XYZ Armored Fortress, searching for full armored XYZ, as Gem Knight Dispersion will fusion summon a monster. We use Nephrim, we use Quartz, and we use Hollow Core. And there is the Diamond Dispersion. Quartz will get us back a Nephrim, and we can upgrade into the Dark Knight Lancer before we tag out for 3 whole fusion monsters set pass. Clown Crew starts with the Rehearsal, met by the Green Light. And that's all she wrote. Game 3. Who will reign supreme? Clown Crew starts with Malabarisme, met by Green Light. Uh-oh. They set a Green Light and pass! Gem Knight player has all the gas. They have a Trickstar Light Stage for a Candina. They have Quartz in the hand. And with that much pressure, the Clown Crew player simply packs it up. They have better things to do with the rest of their day. Here is the Clown Crew list. It features Googlet searching Forbidden Droplet. It has the Flaunderies and Snowl as a spicy tech. It has Shufflers and a bunch of Heralds. It has lots and lots of the Clown Crew cards for maximum consistency. Double Malabarisme, double Soiree. Even going as far as to summon to include Manju and the Nerva. We didn't see that line today, but there is a line that goes Manju, one of the extra deck monsters, and a Bianca Viso, and then you tribute all 3 for a Nerva. That's a fun line. They also have the space for Mulchami Fualos in the main deck. This deck gets to play all kinds of fun cards. You saw all these Clown Crew cards, and then there are some fun XYZs to rank up into. And then in the side deck, we got some Purple Lights. We have the Lanceias, Twin Twisters, Dogoran, Jizukiro, and Santa Claus, just in case, you did one Kaiju, and how about 3 different Kaijus? That's all the replays for this week. I'll put the final standings up so you can see which of the decks performed the best. If you want to play in a future event, make sure to join the Genesys Discord. If you liked any of these replays, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.